My name's Lauren. I'm a Times Change champion. I've been involved since August 2019. Um, I've got lived experience of various mental illnesses, so I'm just going to tell you a bit about what it's like to live with social anxiety. Um, so I've had social anxiety. Well, I had the diagnosis since 2017, but I think I've probably lived with it since I was probably about maybe 9 or 10. But you're often just seen as shy. It's You can't see it, but obviously that doesn't always mean it's not there. It just makes things that seem so simple for people that don't have it really difficult. So things like if I'm going to order food from like a restaurant or a shop, like inside my head I'll rehearse like about a million times what I'm going to say. I'm so scared of getting it wrong and looking stupid. And the big one for me was an absolute terror of being sat on the inside seat of buses and trains because I was scared of getting trapped in there or having to actually engage with a stranger to ask them to like let me out at my stop. Having silent panic attacks, being in a shop or a strange place, having to go into a shop and having to engage with people, having that cold sweat down my back, which you can't see. I just look fine. I still do this to an extent, but wearing earphones when I go into shops because I just get complete sensory overload and I start to panic because of the lights, all the sounds of the noise, people talking, and not wanting to be like the first person to go and do something like putting something that seems really, really daft, like putting rubbish in the bin in the canteen for fear of like embarrassing himself, like tripping over or, you know, doing like catastrophizing thoughts, such as what if I crack my head open? What if someone laughs at me? Like, I really don't like being the centre of attention. And as probably following on from that, you can see public speaking was, and it still is, a complete and utter nightmare for me. Even being on meetings like this one are really, really difficult. And kind of coming to the here and now with COVID and like the lockdowns and restrictions, that it's actually kind of, it seemed good for my social anxiety at first, but it's found sort of new ways and other forms of coming back because I conquered it one night because I thought when I was doing all the work with Time to Change York, I was like, I need to get on top of this because it's taken over my life. And I did a lot of exposure work, which was started by CBT. And it built up to attending conferences on my own. And I presented a poster at a scientific conference way back when. And I actually performed at an open mic night just before lockdown started, to perform my own original poetry. And that was probably the night I actually beat social anxiety. Oh, well, when I say beat it, I had control over it. But now, yeah, with COVID, it's kind of manifested in different ways, like Zoom anxiety. Like before I come onto a Zoom, nobody ever sees this, but I have to calm myself down by doing like the 4-4-6 breathing technique, which is where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for 6 seconds. Or things like listening to music, just simple things, really. And obviously now going back into public places with lots of people, back into normal life, and meeting up with familiar and strange faces, like back in the real world, not digitally. People maybe not obeying the rules as much as you'd like. And because we've been so used to being inside, being back out there again, it's quite frightening because it's a change. But everyone is going to be different. So yeah, that's just kind of an insight into what social anxiety can be like. Everyone has a different experience, but that's just mine.